Robert Cialdini's book, Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, is deservedly considered one of the most significant works in the field of understanding human behavior and manipulation mechanisms. Since its publication, millions of readers have discovered key principles of influence that are applied in business, marketing, negotiations, and everyday life. With a simple and accessible writing style, Cialdini unveils complex psychological phenomena, transforming them into practical tools that help people better understand others and achieve their goals. This book has become a classic thanks to its practicality and wide applicability. The book's uniqueness lies in its structure and ability to merge scientific data with real-life examples, making complex concepts accessible to a broad audience. Through numerous studies, anecdotes, and experiments, Cialdini provides not just theoretical insights, but actionable strategies for readers to apply in their personal and professional lives. Cialdini begins by asserting that everyone is subject to external influences, often without realizing how it happens. He identifies 6 universal principles of influence: reciprocity, commitment, and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Each of these principles is interwoven with real-life examples and experiments that demonstrate their effectiveness. For instance, the principle of reciprocity, rooted in the deeply ingrained sense of obligation, prompts people to return favors. Cialdini recounts an example where restaurant patrons left larger tips to waitstaff who gave them mint candies, a small gesture that created an impression of extra care, thus fostering a desire to reciprocate. This principle is widely utilized in marketing. Companies offer free samples of their products, expecting the recipients to make purchases in return. For instance, Avon actively employs this tactic, providing product samples to increase customer loyalty and drive sales. In another study highlighted by Cialdini, hotel guests were more likely to reuse towels when informed that part of the cost savings would be donated to environmental causes, appealing both to reciprocity and social proof. This underscores how interconnected these principles can be in practice. Cialdini also explores how the principle of commitment and consistency compels people to adhere to their previous choices. If someone initially agrees to a small request or takes a minor step, they are much more likely to follow through with subsequent larger commitments. For example, consenting to place a small sign in one's yard can later lead to agreeing to install a larger billboard. This principle is especially valuable for negotiators and salespeople, as it helps strengthen relationships and build trust. In real life, this is evident when companies offer discounts or trial versions of products to encourage a customer's initial step toward making a purchase. For example, consenting to place a small sign in one's yard can later lead to agreeing to install a larger billboard. This principle is especially valuable for negotiators and salespeople, as it helps strengthen relationships and build trust. In real life, this is evident when companies offer discounts or trial versions of products to encourage a customer's initial step toward making a purchase. For example, car dealerships often use the soft start approach by offering test drives, which fosters a sense of obligation to purchase the vehicle. Cialdini further elaborates on how this principle is harnessed in fundraising campaigns, where organizations first ask for a small symbolic contribution, such as signing a petition, before requesting larger donations. This incremental commitment fosters a psychological need to appear consistent with past actions. An often overlooked concept in the book is the contrast principle, which Cialdini explains as the way people's perceptions are influenced by relative comparisons. He illustrates this with a retail scenario. If a salesperson first shows a customer an expensive item, such as a suit, and then presents a lower-priced accessory, the latter will seem much cheaper than if it were shown in isolation. This principle also applies in negotiations, where anchoring discussions on a high initial figure makes subsequent offers appear more reasonable. Another example involves restaurants that feature high-priced anchor dishes on their menus to make other, slightly less expensive options seem more affordable by comparison. This psychological effect capitalizes on the human tendency to evaluate value not in absolute terms, but relative to context, a strategy widely used across industries. The principle of social proof is particularly crucial in situations of uncertainty, where people tend to look to the actions of others for guidance. Cialdini provides numerous examples, including social experiments where group behavior influenced individual decisions. For instance, in one experiment, participants who saw others in a room looking in one direction would unconsciously mimic their behavior. This effect is actively used in advertising, where companies showcase the success of their products through customer reviews or celebrity endorsements. One example is the queue effect, where demonstrating a large number of people waiting for a product heightens its desirability. For example, Amazon often uses labels like bestseller or popular choice, which significantly enhance trust in the product. Cialdini also mentions a case in the restaurant industry where highlighting popular dishes in a separate menu category increased their sales by 20–30%. Another study showed that hotel guests were more likely to participate in environmental programs when informed that the majority of previous guests in their room had done so. This use of social proof taps into the innate human desire to conform to perceived norms. Another intriguing insight from the book focuses on the foot in the door and door in the face techniques, which demonstrate the power of sequential requests. The foot in the door technique involves making a small initial request that is likely to be accepted, followed by a larger request that aligns with the initial commitment. For example, homeowners who were first asked to sign a petition supporting safe driving were later much more willing to allow large signs promoting the cause to be installed in their yards. Conversely, the door in the face technique starts with an exaggerated request likely to be declined, followed by a more reasonable, smaller request. A striking example is when students were initially asked to commit to volunteering 20 hours a week at a local youth center, a request most refused. However, when the same students were subsequently asked to volunteer just 2 hours a week, many agreed, feeling a sense of relief and obligation. These techniques showcase the dynamic interplay of psychological commitment, guilt, and relief, making them effective tools in persuasion. The principle of authority also plays a significant role, as people tend to obey figures of authority or experts. Cialdini describes experiments confirming that individuals are more likely to follow instructions if they come from someone with symbols of status such as uniforms, titles, or professional attributes. For example, in medical product advertisements, images of doctors in white coats are frequently used, automatically eliciting trust from the audience. One striking example is an experiment where participants complied with tasks simply because the instructions came from someone perceived as an expert. Cialdini emphasizes that while this principle can be beneficial, it can also be exploited in fraudulent schemes. For instance, scams involving fake investment advisors often leverage perceived authority to gain victims' trust. Another application of this principle is evident in the fitness industry, where endorsements from well-known athletes or trainers persuade people to buy supplements or equipment. Cialdini urges readers to critically evaluate the credentials and motivations of authority figures to avoid falling prey to manipulation. The principle of liking is based on the idea that people are more likely to be influenced by those they like. This could stem from shared interests, compliments, or even physical appearance. For instance, Cialdini describes situations where product sales at home parties were successful, precisely because the customers felt a sense of connection with the host. Mutual rapport is enhanced when the seller addresses the customer by name or finds common ground. Modern studies support that even insincere compliments increase the likelihood of agreement. For example, in one scenario, a seller's remark about the customer's excellent taste significantly boosted sales. Cialdini also delves into the psychology of physical attractiveness, noting that people often associate positive traits, such as intelligence and kindness, with good looks. This halo effect makes attractive individuals more persuasive, a phenomenon frequently exploited in advertising and social media. The principle of scarcity relies on the idea that people place higher value on things that are becoming rare or limited. Phrases like "only today" or "limited stock" significantly increase the perceived value of a product. Cialdini recounts how even a slight suggestion of scarcity could trigger a surge in demand, whether during sales events or through exclusive offers. For example, during a toy shortage in the US in the 1970s, limited supply created a frenzy, leading to skyrocketing prices and demand. This principle is now widely used in e-commerce, where countdown timers or notices about low stock create urgency to buy. Another vivid example involved airline ticket sales, where limited-time discounts led to a dramatic spike in bookings. Cialdini explains that scarcity often triggers a fear of missing out, FOMO, a powerful psychological driver that marketers leverage to motivate quick decisions. Two additional principles discussed in the book expand on the interplay of these core concepts. First, Cialdini highlights the synergy between reciprocity and scarcity in large-scale marketing campaigns. Limited-time offers, combined with free bonuses, are particularly effective in encouraging immediate purchases. For example, a cosmetics company offering a free gift for purchases above a certain amount during a flash sale not only drives sales but also fosters a sense of gratitude and urgency. Similarly, in fundraising, combining a deadline with a personalized appeal has been shown to significantly increase donations. Second, the book explores how social proof and authority can be harnessed in public health campaigns. For instance, vaccination drives have successfully increased participation by involving respected community leaders and presenting data on high turnout rates among peers. Cialdini describes a case where personalized messages from doctors reminding patients about appointments dramatically improved adherence to treatment plans. These examples underscore the importance of combining principles for maximum impact, whether in marketing, healthcare, or education. Thank you for listening to this detailed overview of Robert Cialdini's Influence the Psychology of Persuasion. We hope you found this material useful and inspiring. Please subscribe to our channel so you won't miss new videos. Share this episode with your friends, and leave your comments below. Let us know which books or topics you would like to see in future episodes. Your support helps us improve and grow.